Hello, welcome back to your art club. We're here to do another ugly drawing today, and this week it's special because it's International Women's Day on Friday and I'm running my in-person workshop here in Berlin. So I'm doing a little taster today of a cute drawing which I think is really nice. So get your pens, your pencils, your paper, colouring instruments, whatever you choose, and let's get on with it and have a quick look at last week's drawing. Still love it. Let's do another one. Right, I've got my pen, my rotring pen here, which is my fine liner, which shouldn't smudge with the watercolour that I'm going to use. And we're going to start by drawing an upside down V. So kind of in the middle. So you will kind of want like 2 or 3 fingers width between your starting points. So I'm going to do one there and one there. You can't really see those dots, but you will see in a sec. And then we're going to go from this first point down to the bottom corner, but leaving like a little bit of space here. So we're going to aim for here. And it can kind of come out a little bit as well in a slight curve, like that. Then we're going to do the same with this one, except it's going to come down to about here as the end point. So not over here, but here. And again, it can kind of curve around a little bit like that. So it's kind of curved. Well, it doesn't look that curved, I suppose, but it can. It can. Then from here, a little bit in from this first point here, or second point, sorry, just like a tiny little bit, we're going to draw another line that kind of follows this line around to here. And again, it can kind of curve out, but not too much. We want it to be roughly the same width, like that, and leaving space at the bottom here. Then we're going to start from roughly the width of this. We want the width of this to be. So I'm going to say, okay, from about here, I'm going to draw a line that comes out like that. So we've got 2 kind of shapes, one overlapping the other one. Then we can close both of the shapes by doing a straight line at the bottom. 1 and 2. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight, however. Okay, now we're going to come to up here and we're going to draw a kind of a triangle with a little flick. So I'm going to draw it small and then I'll show you big. So first of all, we just draw a straight horizontal line. Then the triangle comes up and then down, but it's a little bit longer and flips back like that. So let me show you. So you first start by drawing a straight line, then you draw your triangle up and it comes down. It's a little bit longer and circles around like that. Okay, don't worry if you've messed it up. It doesn't matter too much anyway. You can adapt it later once you realise what it is. Okay, now we're going to draw another line that comes out and up. So like this, so basically like a triangle, except again, it can kind of go out, kind of bend around a little bit in this direction, and then bend up like that. So it's kind of like an L shape or a C shape, but with a bit of a distinguished corner there. Okay, now we're going to bring this around to make it like bubble writing. So I'm going to bring this around. We want a little bit tucking in here and then big again there, but not as big. So it's kind of like a bubble writing L, if you remember what bubble writing is. Is that still a thing, bubble writing? Back in the school days, it was like the thing to do for all of your posters or any titles. You could write bubble writing, and I was always quite good at it, so that was always my flex, you know. Can't spell anything, but I can write letters in bubble writing style. Okay, so now we're going to come from the top bit here, so kind of where the top bit is, and that we can draw a little line similar size or a little bit smaller to the line that we drew here for this triangle. And now this is up to you, but I'm going to stick with the style that I have in mind. You might start to figure out what it is soon. And I'm going to draw basically like a triangle shape up here, but obviously not drawing on top of the things I've already drawn. So I'm aiming to come just a little bit further from this line here. So I'm going to draw a line to there, and then I'm going to curve the corner, bring it around, making sure that it's above this bit, and then finishing off my triangle like there, and I can add that bit up there. So you can see I've come down, around, and here. The only important thing here is that this line doesn't go below this bit here, so it's gone slightly above and then popped out the other side. Although I guess if it did go below, it wouldn't be that much of a problem, but it's fine. That's my preference anyway. Okay, and then while I've got you up here, I'm going to add a little semicircle there on the top. And then I'm going to add about halfway down of this line, maybe a bit further than halfway, another little shape that kind of protrudes out and goes back in like that. Can you start to figure out what it could be? I'm going to add, also this is all quite small and technical, so I'm going to stay up here. A little line that comes straight out here, curls around and back. So this shape is about the same size as this shape here. Just a little pow. And then you can adapt this, but I'm going to draw kind of a semicircle around, up and down. And then finish off that shape by doing a little mark there. Is that too complicated? I don't know how to explain that otherwise. But this doesn't matter. This can be totally changed, and you'll change it into a different object later if you want to. So I'm going to just finish off my drawing now by adding something up here and two things down here. Can you guess what it is yet? You probably already have. So yeah, we're going to add basically an oval shape, but I'm going to add, it's a head. Okay, I know you already know, but it's a head. So you can draw a head with a profile looking out this way, or you can draw just a circle or an oval with two eyes and a mouth looking at us, or however you want. I'm going to draw it looking out this way because it's what I've done in my sketch, and I'm trying to stick to my plan. So I have a lot of experience in this because I do a lot of illustrations in my Nessdoes, but I quite like doing a small head with then a big body, kind of getting that perspective look. So I'm going to try and get a little nose and a little chin, really small. And then to make it easy for me, I'm going to add the hairstyle, just a really blunt bob like that. And then I need to add just a little neck there. See? And then the face, again, you could just keep it really simple by just doing a little dot for an eye. Don't even need to add a mouth, but I'm going to add a little mouth. You could leave it at that. I like to add a little eyelid and an eyebrow. Again, let's come really close. But this is where you can play around. You could put a hat on someone if you're not sure of what kind of hairstyle. I always like to draw a few kind of lines to indicate where the hair is falling. Could also add a little bun. Okay, I'm going rogue now, Ness. This wasn't in the plan. I just can't help myself. Okay. But yeah, anyway, you get the idea. Head. I've done a small head with a big old body, which I quite like. And looking at it now, it looks like it's kind of a little bit too far to the left than it should be, but that's fine. We roll with it. Then you can add the feet. So you can do whatever. You could do cool, chunky boots. You could do bare feet. You could do just like high heels or whatever. I am going to do little boots. And well, I say little, they're quite big. This one I'm doing in the middle. This one I'm going to do, well, also in the middle actually. I don't know what that was a weird laugh, wasn't it? I don't know what I was planning. Because sometimes when you're drawing motion of someone walking, you would say like this boot would be at the back holding the leg structure back, you see, and then this one will be at the front kind of pushing the trouser forward. But because we've done like bubble trousers, I think it doesn't matter to me anyway. So we've got these cool bubble trousers. The way to make them look a little bit more animated, I find, is to draw a hemline, or a seam line rather, down the middle leg there. And you could also do it on the outside here. That kind of just gives them a little bit of something else. You could also draw kind of like movement lines, because obviously they're not going to just be straight up fabric. Fabric moves and has creases, so you could play around with that. This big triangle here looks a bit weird in this drawing. In my sketch it looks kind of normal, so that's why I was so confident about it. But I'm going to turn it into a puffer jacket. So I'm going to draw the zip like this, and then lines. And you can kind of manipulate how it looks by adding this little curve here. So it's not just going straight across. As it curves around, you're giving that idea of like a 3D kind of look. And then same with the arms, you can kind of curve it around and curve so that it's not just straight across this. But you can do your own design. This is the fun bit. You can kind of like play around with whatever kind of style you want to add to your drawing. You see it kind of looks like a puffer jacket, looks kind of cool. And then this is a little hand that's tucked into the pocket of the trouser, or if you've drawn this line a little bit lower, it'll be tucked into the pocket of the coat, I suppose. And then this is a cup of whatever, so you could turn it into anything actually. It doesn't have to be a cup of something, but I'm going to turn it into a little cup of coffee by simply adding that top bit and adding some indicators that it's hot. I am a bit annoyed that her head is so far back. So maybe, no, Ness, just leave it. Because this is meant to be her other shoulder, but because she's in such a puffy coat, it is very big. Oh, but I'm annoyed. No, just leave it. Maybe I'm just going to bring the hair down here. I knew I couldn't leave it. Yeah, and then that kind of fills that gap and doesn't make it look so wrong with it so far back. Yeah, that's better already. So that's it. So now you could leave it here, or you could add your background, because obviously she's got to be walking somewhere, or they have got to be walking somewhere, depending on who you've drawn. So I'm going to draw kind of like just marks like that, easy peasy. And then, as always, as we did before, I'm going to draw a background of mountains, because she's kind of this triangle shape. So the mountains in the background kind of play with that idea of her being a triangle. And then I'm going to put a sun up here. That's my best attempt at doing a circle. I'm actually kind of proud of that. And you could do clouds and whatever, but I might play around with the paint and that. And that's our drawing bit done. So if that's all you are interested in, then congratulations, you have reached your moment. And I feel like this is like quite high, isn't it? Can I bring it down at all? Maybe I'll edit this bit. Oof. That's better. Okay, now that's a bit closer. Could have done that for the whole drawing bit. Anyway, now I'm going to paint. So as always, I'm going to start with the head bit, and I've got my 2 pots of water here, my big brush. I also actually bought a smaller brush the other day because I was fiddling around with some detailed bits in my illustrations, and I was like, what am I doing? I know I always go on about how having this size brush is like the best, and it is if you just have one brush. I've had this one brush and used this one brush for years and years and years for just general stuff, but if you are doing small things, like her face is very small here, actually having a small brush is quite useful. So I'm going to just go in and paint the face, get that bit over and done with. You can always bring up the, sorry, you're going to see, hi, my head, my big head, because it's so small. I don't know why I've worked so small today. And then I'm also going to paint the hands in the skin tone that I've chosen. 1 and 2. They could also be gloved hands, so you don't necessarily need to do a skin colour if you don't fancy it. Kind of contradictory, isn't it? Because she's clearly quite cold, but she's not got any gloves on. So then my little brush goes away and I get my big brush. I think I'm going to paint her first and then the background at the end, and I'm going to try and do a speed situation here. So I'm going to get my purple. I'm into purple these days. Really enjoying using the purple colour. And look at that, confident strikes. Just slapping it on. I don't mind having like different textures and drying marks, that's fine in this because it's fashion, darling. It's fabric, it'll have different shadows and highlights, and I don't need to make it even. Just be a bit careful around the hand there, so I don't have a purple hand. And then I don't like when you can see like the bottom bit is different from the rest of it, like you've gone along like this along the bottom. I don't like that, so I always try and bring the brush stroke right to the end. But sometimes, like I said before, my paper can have like oily marks on it where it kind of repels the paint, so that seemed to happen down there for some reason. I don't really fondle the paper too much, like I know not to. Sometimes I feel like it's just in the paper, but it probably is just me fondling paper. Sounds creepy, I know, sorry. So I've got a bit more water on my brush now, so it's giving kind of nice blooming look. And that will dry and give me some cool effects. I feel like this leg is going to be all doing something. While I've got a bit of purple on my brush, I'm going to just tap it off on my paper towel and just kind of drag some suggestion of purple on the mountains as well, because I know that purple is a good colour for the background. You see? Easy peasy. Haven't wasted any paint. Now I'm going to go into the top. What would be cool is to do like a all purple outfit, but I think I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do, ooh, maybe orange, purple and orange, make her very bold. I'm digging this colour as well. And again, you could do a pattern or you could leave it white, whatever your heart desires for your clothing colours, but I'm gonna go purple and orange. This girl, maybe she lives in this area with all the mountains. She's just gone to get her morning coffee, or maybe she's visiting for Mountain Fashion Week. Actually, this coat kind of does look like a outdoor fashion kind of coat, doesn't it? She's just there for the posing. Maybe she's getting papped by the photographers and she's trying to look casual in her cool outdoor wear. Patagonia brand. She's a brand ambassador. Getting sponsored to wear their clothes. Okay, Then I'm going to, let's give the sky some blue. So I'll get a very wet brush, tap it in a little bit to the paint, and then I'm going to just tilt it so it's easier for me. Hope you don't mind. And I don't want to do the whole sky, I just want to, I've still got a bit of orange on my brush, that's why it's kind of gone green, but that's alright, actually it's quite nice. Try not to touch the face too much, but don't want to leave like a mark between the face. I'm aware that the jacket is still wet, so I don't want to tap that colour and drag it into the background. That's just a gentle kind of blue background. I can also bring a bit of the blue to the mountains to differentiate them. Oh, too much blue, but that's okay. Differentiate the mountains from the trousers. It's kind of nice, icy cold. I'm being a bit rushed here because I'm aware I don't want to spend too long doing the painting bit. I know we're all busy. We got things to do. Okay, and then this foreground, I'm gonna just bring a bit more, that's right, depth to the foreground. So I'm getting a bit of black, indigo and blue, and I'm just going to kind of, I don't know what she's walking on, but it's dark. To kind of bring a heaviness to this bottom bit here. And then I know I've still got to paint the shoes, don't worry, I'm just thinking about what colour. We could just go classic black for boots, keep it simple. She's already got quite a lot going on with her cool outfit. I'm just going to blend that up a little bit. Oh, I've got too much water on my brush than I wanted, or more water than I wanted. That's all right. This is how you learn how to control your colours, by the way, by playing around with the amount of water that you use with your different colours. It's all just from play if you're interested in learning more about how to use watercolour. Experimentation is the way. And then obviously the sun is up here, and I would go yellow. So I think I'm going to do a base colour of yellow, and then I'm going to go orange on top of it to kind of mirror the orange situation here. So we'll start off with a yellow. I'm going to try and keep it neatness, keep it neat in the lines. Got quite a lot of water though, so I don't have that much control. Yeah, that's cute. Maybe I'll dab off my brush and I could add a little bit of yellow. It's kind of jarring and a bit gross, but get the gist of what I'm trying to do. Add a bit of sunlight onto mountains. Kind of just giving the background a little bit more oomph. Yeah, it's kind of nice. Okay, now the face and such should be dry, so I'm going to paint in the hair. I'm going to use my small brush. And my Van Dyke brown, which I'm very much enjoying using. And whatever other browns are there. I'm going to bring her up. And just because I kind of messed up the hairstyle, I'm using the dark colour. And also it's my colour of choice for my illustrations, so stick to what you know, Ness. That's what I sometimes say when I'm not saying get out of your comfort zone. Alright, so hair is done. I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to get my black. I know this is still a little bit wet, so I'm just being daring. Although the white boots kind of look cool, but I've gone over them with a bit of blue, so, and I want them to be more realistic, because it's like you don't live in the mountains and walk around with white, gleaming white boots, do you? They get covered in grit or whatever eventually. I bought some new boots a few weeks ago. They already look like they're like 4 years old. I don't know what it is, I just cannot keep my shoes like looking new. But that's okay. Most of my days revolve around being in like dirty ceramic, well not dirty ceramic studios, but you know, like dusty, kind of painty places. So I'm not at the fashion week like this girl, so it doesn't matter so much. Yeah, so that you can't even really see, but in real life you can see the difference between the boot and the ground, but in the webcam I'm not sure how much of a difference you can see. Then I'm going to paint the cup, and I'm going to paint it a pink. Well, it's a bit of a dirty pink because my brush wasn't 100% clean. And again, you might see my little head because I just need to check. Quite a delicate operation, this. Just going to paint the whole thing pink. I was going to add like brown for coffee, but actually I just don't want to. And now I'm going to get my brush and just quickly go into my orange, and even though this is still very wet with yellow, just tap in a bit of orange because I'm impatient and I just wanted to mirror the coat a little bit, you see what I mean? And you know what I've done? Again, I've forgotten to add a little rosy cheek onto her cheek, but because I've painted the hair, I'm nervous that the rosy cheek would go into the hair. But should we do it anyway? Okay. You've convinced me. So I've got my little brush again, bring her up. I'm just going to touch in a little rosy cheek and maybe a little rosy nose too, because it's very fresh. I'm going to lift out a bit of that colour. I feel like this is too small for this kind of tutorial, but I hope that you've bared with me. Is that the right, correct English? Because I think that we're finished. Like, I think she's pretty cute. I think that if I was going to spend more time, I would maybe add a bit more depth to the sky and maybe add like more patterns or whatever to her outfit, but I'm pretty happy with that. Half an hour of making art and we've created a cool drawing. So yeah. So there we have our lovely little drawing for International Women's Day week. I have my workshop on Friday, which I'm very excited for, in Berlin. This is a nice little warm-up for it though, our lovely lady. What do you think? Did you enjoy it? Did you manage to draw a tiny little face from that tiny little example? It's so small. I hope that you did enjoy it. If you did, as always, you're welcome to send pictures of what you've drawn my way via Instagram. I look forward to next week's session, and happy International Women's Day for Friday. Otherwise, thank you so much, and I will see you next time for more art. Bye.